You've ever thought that you want to change, but you don't know how? Let me tell you in the right place because today we're going to celebrate change. So, for me personally, one of the things I've been doing is I've been going to a lot of concerts the last 10 years. Problem is that right now, for myself, I have gotten to a point where I look at all the concerts and I go, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Part of it is they're too expensive, and part of it is just I'm not interested anymore. Right? And that identity has fallen away. Maybe you got out of high school, and obviously that won't do you anymore, depending on who you are watching this video. College, who you are today is not going to get you to who you want to be in the future. And today we're going to celebrate. We're going to talk a little bit about it. Okay. So, I got my notes here. I'm going to read my notes as well. It says, redefining yourself fundamentally is about shifting your self concept, how you define yourself. What's that story, that belief, that identity that you have, right? And this is goes deeper than surface levels and habits, right? I have the habit of going to concerts, and they're fun. I still like live music. That part isn't going to change so much, but it's the idea of how do I reinterpret that. Other parts of me, like going out to eat all the time, that's not fun anymore. It used to be fun, and then of course service started being terrible everywhere. And I mean, and it's fine if you go every once in a while, but it was like, dude, I'm the only one here. And I see you every week. And at the same time, every week, 10 o'clock in the morning, every week. And you used to be happy, but now you've changed. And I get it. And I've tried talking to you about it and stuff. And, we don't have so much relationship. But the point is, it's not fun anymore, right? So now I've been eating at home. It's like, do I want to go out and eat or do I want to eat at home? It's been a lot easier to eat at home. But I'm talking about some things I've changed in that in a second. Okay. Now, obviously, you're probably not gonna care because I've still got the neck fat and everything else like that. But maybe you're not watching this today in May. Maybe you're gonna watch this in a year. We'll see. Okay. But I want to actually have this not only as a reference for you, but a reference for myself as well. But I think together we're gonna do this really well. Okay. So it involves psychological and behavioral work that's going to align your sense of self. And again, who do you want to become? That's just fancy talk for who we're going to become. All right. So let's first start by how we identified who we are and then the future. But first, identify who we are, right? Okay. So maybe you've been a lazy person. That's okay. Don't beat yourself up, right? The person who you were made you happy for a time. I hope, right? Maybe you play video games for 9 hours a day. I've been there, I've done that, but I can't play them as much today. They're just not as much fun for me. It's okay. We're going to change that identity around, right? And that's maybe who you are. We're going to start with small actions, right? Part of it is going to be, who are you and what do you want to go. Now, you can't just say, I want to eat better, right? That's a terrible, that's not helpful. That has never been helpful me in 20 years. But I'm going to share a little story what has been helpful for me personally, right? So let's just say I used to go out to eat for lunch all the time. That's true. But here lately, I've been doing something different. I've been sitting in the break room. I've not been talking to a lot of people or anything like that. And that's okay. But for me, it was reading for a time. And if I pick up a really good book again, that'll carry me through. But what happens when that doesn't carry through? Here's how I've been living. I've been going to the produce section. I'm gonna get myself an apple, or a banana, one of the two, right? And get some fruit. Um, and I go at my 6 hour mark. Usually at my lunch about the 6 hour mark. So if I'm hungry afterwards, I can always go and eat in a couple hours. But I need something to tide me up. I don't just eat an apple because I'm like, ooh, I love an apple. No, I eat an apple. I picture myself sitting there. I close my eyes. I have my apple in hand. I close my eyes. And I just picture myself. Am I in the middle of a battle? As a general getting ready for a battle? Am I sitting there in one of those Greek paintings we've seen or something like that? Sitting in my toga, surrounded by women, and we're all eating grapes. I don't know, you know. But I try to picture myself somewhere else. I don't picture myself in the break room, which will just drag me down. I don't picture myself going out to eat because that will just continue that bad habit. Sit at home. Sorry, I sit in the break room. close my eyes and I envision myself somewhere else. And no one leaves me alone when I do, so it's okay. But that's what I do to help facilitate that. Now I'm still working on the eating at home thing because I have not gotten completely off soda. It's okay, I don't know if I will at this point in time, but I'm trying it. I'm working them throughout that. Okay, so it's not a big change, a small change. Okay, but the catch is that it's not enough to just have a principle in practice. You need a story behind it, kind of a why, and stuff like that. You go, I'm going to the gym. That's a principle. That's nice in theory, but you don't go, right? Well, maybe you picture that some guy, I don't know, is about ready to beat you up or something, and call you a girly man. I don't know. He's gonna kick dust in you. I don't know why I'm thinking of these '60s movies, but whatever. I am, and that's why you need to go to the gym. What's the story that's gonna push you? Not the simple. I like the principle, and that makes me feel good. That's not generally enough. We need a story to surround your identity with as well. Mhm. So let go of outdated labels, right? That's the second part. Reframing or releasing the old identity. We're going to let go of the outdated labels, the self descriptions that no longer serve you. This might involve a little mourning period, and it does. It happens, kind of like a, oh, my notes say funeral. But that's okay. You replace that negative talk, or I'm not good enough, with the, I am more capable with the effort. Well, and that's good. Except for again, you need that story, right? That's why I think not my notes were always a little effort. Yeah, you need a story. I'm pushing that because I didn't write down the story part, but you're gonna need that story. Um, Clarify what truly matters to you, right? It's kind of how I feel sometimes. It's like what matters to me. Well, it matters to me that I am able to do my job in an efficient manner, and right now I'm fat and slow, so I can't do it as efficiently as I like to. That I need to start eating better so I can do that. And then just kind of embody that character you've created for yourself, whatever that is. Mhm. And if you say, I want to be an employed millionaire, well, you can sit there and dream it. But what was an employed millionaire do? And I don't know, right? I can't create that for you because I don't imagine myself being an employed millionaire. Maybe one day, but right now, no. And then if you can remove triggers that kind of do your old self habits, right? And add reminders for your new ones, such as you know, um, again, giving yourself I don't know 75 cents for an apple. I don't know how much apples are going to cost when you watch this video, but 75 cents put down there and keep that with you out of the wallet or whatever. See, occasionally when you feel it, you're thinking lunch, lunch. Did you know that's what those 75 cents are for? Mm. And you can surround yourself with people that are helpful to you. Um, you know, you don't want to surround yourself with negative people that are going to pull you back. That is true. I understand. Because, again, they'll agree with you in principle, but they're not necessarily helping you live out your story, per se. I'm not really sure how useful that is in the pro sense. Because all you can do is tell them your story, then go, yeah, and moving on, right? I don't know. Maybe you got better friends than me. It's possible. But then, again, changing your routines also helps. But that's kind of ultimately what you want to do. You want to create the purposeful self. And then, let's see, of course, you're going to face some resistance. It happens. You change a couple things at a time. You're not going to change your entire identity, right? It's not the way it works. But then, just stay motivated. I want to celebrate you being motivated right now because I think you're going to change. You're already creating a story for yourself. Or maybe you're reading a story from a book, right? I think about, like, for example, in the Odyssey, it talks about the gods give this man a cursed stomach, aka, it's like that's what makes him hungry. I was like, never thought about it like that, but it's like my stomach is a curse. Not really. It's actually a good thing, but it's just the idea when you can't feed it that it can become a curse, and that's something I learned reading a book, right? building my mind. Also, Conan. He's another guy, right? He's like, I don't want to be this weakling. I want to crush my enemies. And he's going to fight, even though he looks like he's going to lose. He doesn't lose until he loses. And that's something else that, again, reading helps out in that. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful to you. I also hope that in a year comes back, I look different, I feel different, I talk different, and I'm a little more organized. But thanks for sticking with me if you stick around this long. This is Narrative Nomad. I'll see you on another video.